What's up everyone, and welcome back to my channel. That Joaquin Buckley has reacted strongly to comments made by Shavkat Rakhmonov following their recent exchange on social media. The situation began after the two fighters went back and forth on Instagram, where tensions escalated quickly. During the exchange, Rakhmonov referred to Buckley as Black Boy, a comment that immediately drew attention and criticism. Buckley later addressed the issue during an interview with Perry Punch News, making it clear that he was not pleased with the remark. Buckley explained that the wording of the comment was deeply disrespectful, emphasizing that being called a boy was far more offensive to him than other insults. He stated that he is a grown man and felt that the language used was meant to demean him rather than promote competitive trash talk. According to Buckley, if Rakhmonov wanted to be provocative, he could have chosen different words, such as referring to him as a black man rather than diminishing him by calling him a boy. He also pointed out that the disrespect did not stop there. Buckley mentioned that in a later post, Rakhmonov referred to him as a kid, which Buckley found particularly ironic. Buckley noted that both fighters are the same age, having been born in 1994, and questioned why Rakhmonov continued to portray him as younger or less mature. From Buckley's perspective, this pattern of language showed a clear attempt to be dismissive and belittling rather than simply competitive. Despite his frustration, Buckley made it clear that he is not bothered by trash talk itself. He acknowledged that verbal exchanges are part of the fight game and understands that fighters often try to get under each other's skin. However, he believes there is a line between competitive banter and outright disrespect, and in this case, that line was crossed. Buckley concluded by suggesting that the situation reflects more on Rakhmonov than it does on him. He expressed confidence in who he is both as a fighter and as a man, and made it clear that he does not feel the need to respond with the same kind of language. Instead, he implied that the best response would be to let actions inside the cage speak louder than words outside of it. UFC 325 has suffered a notable setback following confirmation that a fighter has officially withdrawn from the event. Over the weekend, MMA reporter Kevin Kay shared an update involving lightweight contender Rong Zhu, who announced that he will no longer compete against Quillan Salkeld at UFC 325, which is scheduled for next month. The news immediately sparked speculation online regarding the severity of the situation. Rong Zhu later addressed the matter directly, explaining that the reason for his withdrawal is a knee injury sustained during training. While some reports suggested the injury could be serious, Zhu clarified that those claims were exaggerated. According to him, the injury is considered minor but significant enough to prevent him from safely competing at the highest level. Zhu stated that he is currently undergoing treatment and rehabilitation under medical supervision. His doctors have advised him to avoid high-intensity training for the time being, emphasizing that pushing through the injury could lead to more serious complications. With several weeks of rest and proper recovery, the issue is expected to fully resolve without long-term damage. Both Zhu's medical team and coaching staff strongly recommended that he not proceed with the fight. Although the decision to withdraw was difficult, it was ultimately made in the interest of his long-term health and career. Zhu admitted that the injury has disrupted his plans and described the situation as frustrating, especially given the preparation already invested into the matchup. Despite the disappointment, Zhu acknowledged that injuries are an unavoidable part of professional mixed martial arts and something fighters cannot always control. He expressed his intention to focus on recovery and return to training once he is fully cleared, with the goal of rescheduling a fight in the near future. At this time, the UFC has not announced whether a replacement opponent will be secured for Salkeld or if the bout will be removed from the card entirely. Ilia Topuria has once again voiced strong criticism toward Arman Tsarukyan as the lightweight title picture continues to take shape. Tsarukyan remains on the outside looking in when it comes to a UFC lightweight championship opportunity, and based on Topuria's recent comments, there appears to be little sympathy for his situation. Since Tsarukyan withdrew at the last minute from a scheduled fight with Islam Makhachev earlier this year, Topuria has repeatedly questioned his credibility as a title contender through interviews and social media. Topuria believes that Tsarukyan's withdrawal played a major role in the UFC passing him over for the next title shot. While acknowledging that Tsarukyan is a talented fighter, Topuria emphasized that opportunities at the highest level are earned through consistency and reliability. He argued that Tsarukyan had already been given his chance to fight for the belt and failed to follow through when it mattered most. According to Topuria, injuries and physical discomfort are part of every fighter's career. He pointed out that all fighters deal with back pain, arm pain, leg pain, and various other issues, yet they still show up and compete. In his view, Tsarukyan's decision not to fight raises questions about what truly went into that choice. Topuria suggested that Tsarukyan knows the internal conversations he had with himself at the time and implied that the decision reflected poorly on his mental toughness. Despite the criticism, Tsarukyan's dominant victory over Dan Hooker last November has kept him firmly in the title conversation. However, Topuria also brought up Tsarukyan's behavior during fight week, specifically referencing the incident in which Tsarukyan headbutted Hooker at the weigh-ins ahead of their bout in Qatar. From Topuria's perspective, that moment showed a lack of intelligence and professionalism. Speaking from what he described as a promoter's point of view, Topuria explained that it is difficult to trust a fighter who is heavily promoted, financially invested in, and placed on major cards, only for that fighter to withdraw or create unnecessary controversy. He added that such actions do not demonstrate appreciation for the support and exposure the UFC provides. Topuria concluded by suggesting that the UFC's hesitation toward Tsarukyan is a direct result of these factors. He implied that trust is a critical element in earning championship opportunities and that Tsarukyan's past decisions continue to impact how the promotion views him moving forward. Brendan Allen has shared his prediction for the highly anticipated matchup between Khamzat Chimaev and Nasruddin Imavov, making it clear that he strongly favors Chimaev to come out on top. While Allen acknowledges Imavov's skills and experience, he believes the stylistic matchup heavily benefits Chimaev and expects the fight to be largely controlled by him. Allen described Imavov as a fast and technical striker with solid movement and timing. However, he questioned whether Imavov possesses the power necessary to seriously threaten Chimaev. In Allen's view, while Imavov can land clean shots and create openings on the feet, those strikes are unlikely to have a significant impact on Chimaev if he maintains good defensive awareness. Allen emphasized that speed alone will not be enough to stop Chimaev's forward pressure and physical strength. According to Allen, the most decisive factor in the fight will be Chimaev's ability to take the contest to the ground. He fully expects Chimaev to secure takedowns at some point and dictate the pace from top position. Allen was critical of Imavov's ground game, stating that it is largely defensive and lacks meaningful offensive threats. While defensive grappling can help a fighter survive, Allen believes it often prevents them from creating opportunities to turn the fight in their favor. Allen also pointed out that once Chimaev establishes top control, he has a unique ability to force opponents to work at an exhausting pace. Even if a finish does not come immediately, Chimaev's pressure and strength can wear opponents down over time, making it difficult for them to mount any sustained offense. This, Allen believes, will ultimately lead to Chimaev taking over the fight. Beyond the technical breakdown, Allen criticized both fighters for their hesitation during the build-up, particularly surrounding references to their regional and cultural connections. He described this approach as a major mistake, suggesting it could give fans the impression that the fighters might hold back or lack true competitive intent. Allen argued that such narratives risk diminishing excitement for what should be a high-level contest. The fight was originally scheduled to take place earlier in the year, but was postponed and is now expected to occur after Ramadan, likely in April or May. Allen remains confident that when the cage door closes, Chimaev will overwhelm Imavov in a way few others can. He also noted that the two have trained together in the past, with reports describing those sessions as extremely one-sided, further reinforcing his belief in Chimaev's dominance. Carlos Prates has shared his thoughts on what could be next, following his most recent victory inside the octagon. Coming off a major win over former champion Leon Edwards, Prates has quickly positioned himself as one of the most talked about contenders in the UFC welterweight division. During a recent interview, he discussed where he believes this win placed him and which opponents he is most interested in facing next. Prates acknowledged that his ultimate goal is to fight for the UFC welterweight title. However, he also made it clear that he understands the current landscape of the division and the likelihood that the championship picture may already be moving in a different direction. With other top contenders and title fights seemingly lined up, Prates is realistic about the path ahead and is focused on staying active against elite competition. When asked specifically about potential opponents, Prates expressed strong interest in facing either Jack Della Maddalena or Michael Morales. He described both fighters as high-level competitors who would represent meaningful challenges and valuable opportunities to further establish himself among the division's elite. According to Prates, a fight against either opponent would make sense from both a competitive and ranking standpoint. Prates emphasized his priorities continuing to test himself against the best fighters available, regardless of whether a title shot is immediately on the table. He believes that taking on top contenders is the most effective way to prove he belongs at the highest level and to solidify his case for a future championship opportunity. In related combat sports news, Real American Freestyle has officially announced a major bout for its upcoming January 10 card. The promotion revealed that Bo Nickel and Yoel Romero will face off for the light heavyweight title. This announcement follows Romero's recent victory over Patrick Downey earlier this month, a win that earned him the promotion's inaugural light heavyweight championship. The matchup between Nickel and Romero has already generated significant attention due to the contrasting styles and high-level wrestling backgrounds of both athletes. With the title now on the line, the bout is expected to be one of the most anticipated contests on the card, as Prates continues to build momentum in the UFC and major matchups are announced across combat sports. The months promise to deliver several high-stakes fights with major implications for rankings and championships alike. Andrei Arlovski has released a public statement following a highly publicized backstage altercation that occurred over the weekend. The former UFC heavyweight champion made headlines after footage surfaced showing him involved in a physical confrontation with YouTuber Jack Doherty and members of Doherty's entourage. The incident took place backstage at the Anthony Joshua vs. Jake Paul box event in Miami and quickly went viral across social media platforms. In his statement, Arlovski addressed the situation directly and firmly rejected claims that he had attacked anyone without cause. He explained that he acted in self-defense after feeling that he, his wife, his child, and a close friend were being threatened. According to Arlovski, his actions were not intended to harm anyone, but rather to stop what he perceived as an immediate threat. He emphasized that protecting one's family is a responsibility, and that he did only what was necessary to ensure their safety. Arlovski also suggested that the confrontation may have been fueled by a desire for online attention. He implied that the individuals involved were seeking content for social media and believed he would be an easy target. He dismissed that notion and described himself as the victim in the situation rather than the aggressor. Following the initial statement, Arlovski posted additional videos responding to comments from fans. In one of the videos, he stated that he would be willing to face Doherty's bodyguard in a controlled professional setting. He expressed frustration over what he described as cheap shots from behind and voiced concern about how dangerous such situations could become if they involved individuals without proper training. Arlovski further reflected on the broader issue, warning that reckless behavior at combat sports events could lead to serious injuries or even fatalities. He stressed that provoking fighters or creating chaos for entertainment is unacceptable and should not be taken lightly. In another remark, Arlovski took a jab at Doherty, sarcastically stating that Doherty successfully avoided confrontation by hiding behind his bodyguard and fleeing the scene. He added that such behavior spoke volumes about the situation. Doherty later denied responsibility for the altercation, claiming that he was simply walking by when the incident occurred and that he did not provoke Arlovski in any way. Meanwhile, MMA coach and analyst Din Thomas weighed in on the matter, suggesting that those involved were fortunate the situation did not escalate further. Despite the controversy, Arlovski continues to stay active in combat sports and is coming off a recent knockout victory over a reality television personality at a Misfits boxing event in November.